It was a typical uneventful Friday in calculus class. Seventh period meant the week was nearly over and spring break was just around the corner. The students were restless, especially since we didn't have a test that day, unlike many of my friends in other classes. Our laid-back teacher decided to lighten the mood by playing games on Sparkle.com. I remember the exact moment everything changed. Right after my friend answered a question about Adidas, the dean's voice crackled through the loudspeaker. He sounded panicked as he announced that this was not a drill and instructed all teachers to go into lockdown. Chills ran down my spine as I noticed our usually calm teacher rushing to turn off the lights and usher us into the back corner of the room. We sat in silence for about 2 minutes, and then the usual buzzing from the panel in the back ceased, indicating the school had cut all power. We exchanged worried glances, realizing the seriousness of the situation. A few minutes later, we heard a man screaming in the hallway. The man's screams grew closer, and he started banging on the lockers, shouting, "I'll kill all of you." At that moment, I truly feared for my life. Our teacher shushed us as we looked at each other, trying to gauge our peers' reactions. The banging shifted from the lockers to our classroom door. One of the crying girls screamed, "No!" The pounding intensified, and the man yelled, "Open up!" The girls were now crying loudly, and it felt like an eternity as he pounded on the door. Eventually, the man continued down the hallway, screaming like someone deranged until we could no longer hear him. After what felt like 10 minutes, though it seemed like half an hour, the dean came back on the loudspeaker to explain the situation. He revealed that a mentally unstable man had entered the building and assaulted the woman at the front desk, causing her to flee in terror. Staff members were unsure if the man was armed. At that time, our school lacked security cameras and proper safety measures, making it vulnerable to such incidents. The staff conducted a sweep of the hallways and classrooms but couldn't find him. The dean instructed us to resume teaching, but to keep all doors locked and not to let any students leave under any circumstances. The most disturbing part came later when one of the janitors discovered the man sleeping in a storage closet at the back of the school. Rumors spread among my classmates that he had a .44 Magnum in his pocket. The janitor must have inadvertently disturbed him, as by the time the police arrived, the man had vanished. To this day, my entire class remains unaware if he was ever found, but I like to think he is receiving the help he needs. My school has 2 lunch periods. The first is for all 6th graders and some 7th graders, while the second is for the remaining 7th graders and all 8th graders. The lockdown I experienced occurred in early October on a rainy, overcast day. During the first lunch period, I heard 4 loud booms. Initially, I thought it was thunder, but then the entire lunch crowd erupted in screams. I assumed the other kids were just being dramatic until campus security rushed in, yelling for everyone to head to the multi-purpose room. Students in line for lunch had to throw away their food and hurry inside. My friends and I joined a large group of kids in the multi-purpose room, which has a huge back wall made of glass. As we were ushered in, campus security began covering the glass with curtains and stationed adults at every exit. My friend Eric, curious like the rest of us, asked one of the adults what was happening. When he returned, he informed us that a mentally disabled man had barricaded himself in front of his house nearby and was threatening to commit suicide while also threatening to kill the police if they tried to evict him. He had been watching the students in a strange way. To make matters worse, Eric revealed that the man was a registered sex offender. We were confined to the multi-purpose room for a whole hour, spanning 2 class periods. Once the situation was resolved, we were escorted back to our classrooms one by one. I later learned that the man lived next to my friend Brandy, who recounted a disturbing Halloween incident when she saw him at his window, cutting his arm and writing in his own blood, "Don't come here or I'll kill you." At the time, people, including Brandy, assumed it was just a Halloween prank, but after this incident, we knew he was a serious threat and felt relieved that he never got close to us. I'm 22 years old, fresh out of college, and recently landed a job at my old high school as a computer intern in the messy and disorganized school basement. However, there's a small, well-kept 3-person office down there, complete with 3 large desks, 2 mini-fridges, a flat-screen TV, and air conditioning, a luxury not afforded to students and teachers. I got the job because 3 of my former computer teachers adored me, and I considered them real friends rather than just authority figures. Everything was going great until something unsettling happened a few weeks ago. My two coworkers, Dave and Gary, were upstairs working while I enjoyed my lunch break in the office. While eating my sandwich, I received a phone call from a woman in the front office informing me that the school was on lockdown due to a possibly armed intruder. There wasn't much I could do, so I turned off the lights in the office. Surprisingly, this nice little office didn't have a door, just a big opening, and the basement door didn't even have a working lock. I turned off all the lights in my computer screen, keeping my phone on the desk while I texted Dave and Gary, but they didn't respond. I sat there in the dark, playing games on my phone for about 20 minutes, waiting for the call to resume working. I had no idea what was happening upstairs and was not allowed to make any calls until the lockdown was officially over. Suddenly, the noisy basement door creaked open, echoing through the space. I sat up, wondering if I should call out to Gary or Dave, eager to get information. Someone then came running down the stairs, their footsteps approaching my office. I pushed my chair away and crawled under my desk, heart racing. Someone entered the office but didn't turn on the lights. Silence enveloped me and I felt an overwhelming sense of fear. I believed that if I made even the slightest noise, I would be in grave danger. Then my phone dinged with a text message and I felt a wave of panic wash over me. I clenched my teeth in fear as footsteps moved closer. Finally, I crawled out from under the desk, begging whoever it was not to kill me. Just then, someone grabbed my arm and pulled me up. It was a man in a red plaid shirt, jeans, and a reddish-black cap. He told me, "It's okay, I'm just hiding down here with you. What's going on up there?" I whispered to him. But he ignored my question and asked if there was an exit down there. I pointed toward the exit, but before he could move, I asked, "Who are you?" There was a brief moment of silence before he explained that he had come to pick up his son when a teacher told him to hide. After he spoke, I checked my phone and saw a text from Dave that read, "Dude, this is crazy. Some guy shot Mr. Buckley. He's wearing a red shirt and a hat. Whatever you do, don't come upstairs." I was about to read that text aloud to the man when I looked up and felt my stomach drop. The man appeared to sense my unease and panic surged through me. I bolted for the stairs just as a gunshot rang out in the basement, and I heard the bullet ricochet off something metallic. Thankfully, the bullet missed me and I made it upstairs. Police were waiting at all exits, including the basement, and apprehended the man the moment he opened the door. Fortunately, our teacher, Mr. Buckley, survived the gunshot. It was later revealed that he and the man had some unresolved conflict, but the specifics were never disclosed. All we knew was that Mr. Buckley hadn't done anything to justify such a violent reaction. The sound of that gunshot will forever echo in my mind.